And hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of this series where I am working on making a fan-made Animusic. As most of you know, it's going to be based off of Kahoot. I'm using the Kahoot theme. Last episode, we found a MIDI file and kind of started setting up the set, but didn't really get too far in that. This week, hopefully, we're going to get a lot more done on the set. These are going to be about an hour each. So yeah, I hope for the next hour or so you can join me as we work on this Kahoot animation. Let me transition you over. Hello. So here is the Blender file. Oops. Sorry, I'm streaming to Twitch as well, and I realized I had to open that up. All right. Here's the Blender file. And so last time, we established the theming of using these shapes and using the purple background, and then started kind of mocking up what an instrument could look like, but didn't really get too far with that. This time, I had a thought with the background. I like the purple, but the purple is really bland. And Animusic backgrounds are very detailed. So I had two ideas. The first idea is to do like a purple abstract background, lots of different abstract shapes and stuff. And the other idea is to make the background kind of look like a school, the interior of a school. So we're going to experiment with both of those ideas a little bit and try to see what we can get. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we are going to start making collections and naming meshes. Very exciting stuff. So let's make a new collection. We'll call this background. And then we'll call this background purple, and we'll put that in the background and then hide that so we know it's been sorted. Then we'll make another collection called lighting. We'll select all these lights, put them here. We'll probably name these spotlights later on, but I don't need to do that right now. I forgot the name of each of the layers we had. Let me open that up real quick. And just like last time, if you guys have any suggestions whatsoever, you're more than welcome to suggest them in the chat. I'll be reading the chat, keeping up with that, and I absolutely love hearing your suggestions. You can help shape whatever this turns out to be. So, if you've never been able to make an Animusic animation on your own, now's your chance to help work on one. So I need to just remember what everything was named. Alright, so we have the high-pitched synth. And that's all this red stuff here. So this is HPS face. And then we had the we'll do the bass next. This will be the bass. There we go. And then we had, what's the green thing called? The drums. Drum bass. And then we had the this cowbell. And then the camera doesn't have to be sorted. Alright, everything has been sorted now. Blank scene, as it should look like. Turn everything on and off. Your internet is kind of crap right now? That is terrible. I feel for you. Yeah, let me know if anyone else is experiencing that, just to make sure it's not an issue with the stream. YouTube says it's good right now, but just in case. Alright, so we are going to make a floor. And we'll scale it up. And we'll call it tile floor. Are all my materials named? No, of course not. I actually have a texture library I've kind of put together myself. And I know I have a tile floor, so let's find it. Frequent files, textures. I have this, I've just been, saving images over the years. So I have this massive folder. And here is the tile texture. Oh, that's a single square. And I also have this one, but it's colored. Maybe I can use that one and tweak the color a little bit. So we're going to go to image texture. What do you guys think? Do you think the abstract background would be better for this, or do you think doing like a school background would be better? Um, like I said, love hearing the opinions. Even if I don't use them, I just like to hear what other people think. And yeah, collaborate with you guys on making this. Alright, we're going to go to... Oh, we want a noise texture. Color ramp. I really like procedural textures for some reason. So in case you don't know, procedural textures are when you they're not from pictures, they're from nodes, math nodes. You know, this is noise, so it's just, it looks all, you know, distorted, and I can kind of use that to create a smudgy look on the floor. I need to know first how big these linoleum tiles are. How big is a linoleum tile? 10 by 10 or 20 by 20? Okay. 10 inches to meters, because that's what Blender uses. 0.254. Okay, cool. So we need to measure out with the ruler. 0.25337. That's good enough. And then we'll go here. Open up a ruler again. And we will just scale this up until one of these tiles is that big. Let it go a little bit past. Lines up. There you go. And yeah, now we have a tiled floor. It's probably a little too shiny for a school tiled floor, but we can always tweak stuff like that pretty easily. And then the last thing I like to do is just take this, plug it into the bump, and that'll get us our grooves. But you can also see we have a couple of nasty artifacts of that. It's not looking great, so we can put it in this color ramp here. Kind of help define, you know, what's what. Like that. And that is what a tiled floor looks like. So now we can put all this stuff back. And they are not... They're in the ground for some reason. That's really weird. And there we go now. Okay, so these shapes are massive. I did not realize that before. Hey, 8th Ferno, good to see you. Sorry, I didn't see your message earlier. These shapes are absolutely massive, so let's scale them down quite a bit. Where are their origins? They're all... Alright. I'm going to delete this pipe we made last time. I don't think we need it anymore. We'll go one more. I was wondering why, last time I was wondering why I had to make these spotlights so strong. That's why, because it was massive. So I'm making sure that the scale of the objects match as closely as possible the scale I want them to be in real life. Now it seems a little weird and it seems a little silly, because like, why does it matter? It's 3D space, who cares? Because certain things in Blender are calculated based on how big they are, such as motion blur, and even like how light bounces work and depth of field, all things I want to have. And I can only have them if, I can only have them look right, I guess I should say, if they are, everything's to the right scale. Is it a detail most people notice? No, Does it make me feel better? Yeah, and it's easier to work with. Like if I wanted to import, let's say, a symbol model, I know how to make symbols, but let's say I want to use an external one, I can import it and it won't be like way too big or way too small to be the right size, and everything will fit together nicely. And I can help, kind of get a scale of how big or small this set is in real life. So always, if possible, when you're working in Blender, make your stuff the accurate size. So I've got this school tiling, and I don't like it. I'm seeing it. We'll call this school tile. I think this would be better done as a, we'll put this in the background. I think this would be better done as the abstract purple thing I was talking about. So, to do that, we first need, I just realized these are like way off center. This so far this episode's been cleaning up everything, but now we should be getting into work. Okay. So I'm going to call this the like safety zone. So everything in this circle isn't going to be like weird or abstract. This is all just going to be purple. And we're going to make a higher resolution mesh. Let's make it 128, and you'll see why it's so high in a second. Scale this down to here. Yeah, we can make this purple. So see, that's kind of like our stage, and then everything else is going to be really dark. We're going to set the world to a dark purple. Lighting is probably not what I need to be working on right now. I should probably do animation and stuff, but I do enjoy lighting a lot, so that's what I'm working on. Alright, so this is going to be like a circle that just kind of stretches forever, gives it a nice floor, horizon line. You can see. They are different looking purples. The exact shade of purple that Kahoot uses, that's genius. That is absolutely genius, and yes, there is. Let's get the Kahoot logo. I didn't even think about that. That is a great suggestion. Thank you. Let's make a new folder called assets. I usually do that, and then that's just junk, random things. And we can drag in the Kahoot logo, and it's a PNG. That's perfect. And then what we can do is we can go here and click on this, go over to this image viewer, open up. Let's just copy this. Open this up, open the image. That's a really, really good suggestion. Thank you. Maybe the same for the other shapes. Yeah. I can do a screenshot. Actually, the other shapes might already be, maybe not. Alright, and then, boom. That is Kahoot purple right there. In the background, we're going to make it Kahoot purple. And then, we're going to figure out how to light that in a second. I kind of want the background to be darker though, so we're going to darken it and make it slightly bluer, so it's not really Kahoot purple anymore, but it just makes it look a little bit better. And then we're going to add a sun lamp so that everything off in the void isn't complete pitch black, but this sun lamp is going to have really soft shadows and not be very bright. So still, now you've got a little bit of lighting coming from the rest of the world, but it's not super obvious. The spotlights are lighting our main stage. And I do like to do progress renders, so I'm actually going to do something different this time around. I'm going to call this progress camera, and I am going to pick a position for it and then not move that position this entire time working on this animation. Why is this so off-center looking? That's really weird. Is the camera centered? Oh, it is, but it's rotated. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. Alright, so yeah, see, I'll be zoomed out, kind of. And then I'm just going to render out this image right here multiple times throughout the series, just so we can see, here's what we started with, here's what we ended up getting, and then, maybe put it into a little animation or something. So I'm going to anchor all this so that it cannot be touched. And then we are going to render our first rendered image from this project file. Not very interesting rendered image, but it will be interesting to come back to. Yes, exactly. Oh, I think there's some things that I need to turn off. Yeah, exactly. Dev stills. Absolutely love the Animusic dev stills. I used to stare at them for hours, and so I really do like making my own. And I like going back and looking at my own just to see how they changed. So I don't know if any of you were here early enough to see it, but I had an intro in this live stream, and originally the intro was going to be a lot longer than it ended up being, but I made it kept it short. But to make the intro, I actually went back through and looked at a lot of the old stuff I worked on. And there's some really cool stuff here you guys might find interesting. This is Take On Me stuff. I was experimenting with using lasers, obviously. Kind of hard to look at. Oh, this is when I was experimenting using Unreal Engine. So this, I still really like the look of Unreal Engine, but this was rendered with Unreal Engine. I ended up not using it, but that's the trumpet that ended up being in Take On Me. Right here we have, this is my first MIDI controlled animation. Obviously really simple, but I just wanted to test it out. Down here is what the Take On Me stage was looking like at the beginning. So I started on Take On Me, gave up on Take On Me, and then did the Polytopia ones, and then went back to Take On Me. So the images you just saw were from before the Polytopia ones. But then, here's the Take On Me stage. I think this is the final render of it. So this is just kind of cool to see, because this is what it looked like, early on. You can see, once I did something, I didn't really change it much. And then this is what it looks like by the end. You can see I added a bunch more instruments. I was really happy with the stage. I think this stage looks phenomenal. I'm so proud of it. Still, I really, really enjoy watching that one. This one's kind of interesting. This is when I was experimenting. I actually have to be careful because I will get copyright claimed, so I'm not going to play too much of it. But I was experimenting on how to make this scene when it comes down. There's a key change, and it does that thing. I knew I wanted it to be cool. I knew I wanted it to stand out. So I was debating between doing it like this. I made this video to send to friends to help get a decision, or doing it like this. And I think this is what I ended up going with because it looks so much cooler. Whole thing turns blue. I don't know. I just really like that. It looks like a black light. It looks like what you would expect to see. I hope I don't get demonetized for that. It looks like what you would expect to see, like a laser tag arena or something. Yeah, a lot of Take On Me development stills here, but I have development stills for all the others too. But anyway, the point of this long story is that I like development stills. I like doing them. I like looking back at them. I feel like there's a lot to be learned. This is from before I even did any Animusic, and I was just testing, trying to make an Animusic looking stage. It's kind of interesting how I went from this to, like Hark the Herald Angels Sing, which is probably the best looking one. This one I'm still super proud of. I think this one looks outstanding. Oh, it's like when there's lighting changes in the Animusic. Yes, the lighting changes are really fascinating. The most interesting one to me is how they changed the guitar. It was blue for up until, even I think the last picture in the dev stills is a full rendered version of the whole scene, and the guitar is still blue. And then in the actual one, it's green. But it's really funny because the blue works well. The green works well, obviously. That's what they went with. But the blue works really well. And you could probably do a Mandela effect type thing. you know, show someone a picture of the blue one and they'll probably be like, yeah, that's what it looked like. They won't even notice there's anything wrong with it. But yeah, I always found that interesting. That too, I meant the lighting of the set. Yeah, I knew you meant the lighting. That reminded me of the color change. One more archive thing and then I'll get back to work. I really like this. You can see very early on that this was before Take On Me. I was doing a Animusic 3 style. I mean, this is what Animusic 3 looks like. And I was kind of trying to replicate this style. I had a lot of fun making this. I just added random bevels to this laser till it was complicated enough. And then on these arms, yeah, I actually reused these arms in the Polytopia one, Kiku theme. But you can see these arms are, have random bevels and stuff in them. And, a big horn or something. I don't think there was a purpose with that. I think I was just testing. Yeah, it's really weird to go back and look at all this stuff. I could definitely talk about this stuff for a while. I mean, I went through a lot of research and development trying to figure out how to make these, and I have hundreds of files on my other computer that show off everything I did. I remember people saying that Laserium, the Future Retro prototype, was going to have the blue guitar until they found a picture of it. Oh, really? That's interesting. I always forget Laserium. I'm glad they renamed that one. I always forget that one exists entirely, honestly. They think it's pretty much just Future Retro, right? Just maybe, subtle changes. At least that's what I think I remember hearing. Alright, back to work here. Let's bevel this stage a little bit. Just help it stand out, feel a little more natural. And then I've decided I'm going to keep everything with basic. I'm going to do materials. I'm going to do textures. I'm not going to have them be super strong, though. You'll see that there's texture when the light hits it and stuff, but I still want that smooth, modern Kahoot look and feel to it. But yeah, here's our stage so far. We're going to add another spotlight that shines down on everything. It'll be this one right here. It'll kind of bless the entire stage with its beautiful light. We will make it a little bit softer on the shadows. But yeah, there we go. That's looking cool. I really like it. Yeah, that'd be. I mean, you say I haven't found it, but I'd be shocked if it's anywhere. I'm not sure it's a fine thing unless you go through Wayne Lytle's hard drive, then it'll probably be there. It's amazing to me the things that the Animusic community has found. I mean, the work people do. It's so cool to be a part of like a small but dedicated community like that. It's really cool to see all the things people are able to figure out and find. Alright, we are going to bevel these shapes slightly. Always bevel everything for realism. Nothing in the real world has super sharp corners. I was debating if I was going to bevel the... Ah, dang it. Why did I do that? This is going to make it impossible to bevel now. Ah, why would I do that? Alright. I don't even remember what my reasoning was last time for making this all quads. I think I was just trying to... I think I went on a rant about like how it's impossible to get good topology at the end of a cylinder or something. And then I decided to do this. Now I have to clean up my own mistakes. Oops. Yeah, the community is really chill. The community, yeah, the Animusic community is really cool. Definitely one of the most laid-back ones I've been a part of. And it's cool to see the amount of love and care Animusic still gets all these years later. Especially with no input from the creators. I hope Wayne and Dave, I don't think Animusic has always been all positive for them, but I do hope they realize how positive it's been for lots of people. I mean, it's been super influential in so many people's lives, and I hope they give themselves a little bit of a pat on the back for that. You know, I never actually rendered my image. I talked for hours about doing it, and then I didn't do it. Let's do that real quick. Kind of wish I'd done that before the beveling. That's okay. You mentioning that nothing is super sharp to realize that anime really has sharp edges on stuff. Yeah, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find something in the real world that was perfectly sharp. I mean, you know, I have a desk right here, and it's as close to perfectly sharp as you can get, but the corners are beveled slightly. You know, I have this little thing right here, and you can see, I mean, if this was just a background prop, you could obviously have these corners sharp. But if you're looking at it up close, they're beveled. I mean, yeah, even, you know, back here I have another shelf. It's an IKEA shelf. Their corners are beveled. It's just everything in the world's like that. It's hard to get sharp edges in the natural world. Alright, we're going to save these as JPEGs with 100% quality. And we are going to call this dev stills. No. Kahoot dev still 1. There we go. Yeah, Animusic is remarkably realistic. Even today, the animation, or rather the rendering, has aged, but it's not bad. You know, there's a difference between aged animation and bad animation, and it's aged, but it still looks really. I mean, the artistic merit is outstanding, as I'm sure you know and appreciate. All right, what has a keyframe? No keyframes yet. All right, I was thinking it was time. I wanted to do some animation, but there's nothing to animate yet. I am all over the map with this one, but we need to design some instruments. So that always just involves listening to the tracks, coming up with something. So the bass is kind of the main character here. I think the bass needs to be cool. The bass is carrying a lot. And it's square, so we're going to make it squarular. But it's aged pretty gracefully. I'd argue Animusic's animation quality, it's aged much better than older Pixar stuff. I agree. Let's see, what Pixar movie came out in 2001? I don't know if anyone came out in 2001. Monsters Inc. There we go. Okay. If you look at, here, we'll open the trailer. If you look at a picture from Monsters Inc., put it next to Animusic, I think Animusic will have aged better. But let's confirm or deny. Yeah, I mean, Animusic, look at the lack of, like, and Animusic has, like, the lack of ambient inclusion and stuff, but, so, what the big difference is Animusic is non-living things. You know, computer graphics has been able to render metal and wood since day one. I mean, that's, you know, what it started with, and that's what Animusic is it's metal and it's wood. Living things are where it's struggled, and I mean, you can see the living things look a lot worse than the backgrounds, but also the backgrounds are a lot more simplistic than they are in Animusic. You know, Animusic backgrounds are just so detailed, and they also kind of have like slightly stylized textures. They're not super realistic. I remember when 3D was a thing. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. Animusic 1 definitely looks better than this. Here's my little graphics rant about Animusic and how good it looks. Alright, so I had an idea while I was going on that rant. This is why I talk a lot, because I usually get good ideas. And the base is going to look like, you know how Rubik's Cubes you turn them and you can kind of turn them like 45-degree angles. That's what the base is going to look like. So I think before we do anything, we need to see how many notes we need. So I don't actually have NOA MIDI copier right now, but we're going to get it. We're going to download it. I love this add-on, and I will be using it for this project because I do not know how to use any of the others. I know there's a couple of other really fantastic ones, and I desperately need to learn them, but I have not. And I still really like NOA MIDI copier, so I will continue to use it for now. Oh, maybe I do already have it installed. This is on me, but I'm struggling to visualize what you're saying about the bass. That's alright, because I didn't do a good job explaining it, but I wish I had a Rubik's Cube on me. I don't see one within arm's reach. But, alright, let's see. We have these Minecraft blocks back here. And so, think of these two separate blocks as like slices of a Rubik's Cube. You can turn them like that. I'm imagining the base looks like this, and then each slice is turned slightly like that, and then it's a row of them with however many notes there will be, each one turned slightly more, and then each one shoots out like a laser, and that's it. There's no the machine itself doesn't turn. It's just already kind of preset turned positions, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, we're about to make it, so you'll see it in just a second, I suppose. Not a second, it'll probably take a little bit longer than that, but let's install this add-on. I don't know why I haven't done this yet. Anyway, there we go. Alright, let's new animation window. Oof, it's gonna be hard to get back into this because it has been a while. Well, let's get our MIDI file. Music, MIDI. I realize I need an MP3. Can I export that out of here? Uh-oh. Some programs, like the text program, you can just save it as .mp3, and then it'll save as that file type. But I don't know a lot of. Yeah, no, it just saved it as a MIDI with .mp3 at the end. That didn't work, and I feel silly for doing that. Let's look up MIDI to MP3. Yeah, thank you. I think it will be really cool. Hopefully, we'll see. I love lasers. Lasers are my favorite Animusic thing. So, yeah. Speaking of Animusic, I realized I got Animusic music to play in the background. I haven't so far, but that's okay because we're about to be working with the music for a little bit. But I'll get that up in a second. I'm currently converting it with an online converter. I don't know if it'll be high enough quality, but let's hear it. It did a pretty good job. I mean, it still sounds like... That's such a good song. Alright, let's go to the video editor. So, let me show you how I set up these Blender files. So I get I get my MP3, which I have here. Import that. I have to make sure, yep, alright. So we're at the wrong frame rate. We need, Animusics are done at 29.97. That's what I'm going to do these at. You want to do, I've noticed, at least 30 frames per second with these, because 24 and fast computer motions will get missed. If you have a ball bouncing, you'll have a frame, if this is what it's hitting, you'll have a frame where it's here, and then in between frames it'll bounce off and be here. But the viewer just sees it not hitting it. So it's important to get as many frames in there as you can. 60 frames per second, in my opinion, is a little overkill. 30 is usually what I like to do, but It's personal preference. But yeah, no lower than 30 on these, or you will regret it. When you said the bass had to look cool, my mind went straight to something like Mr. Stick, but that would have seemed lazy. Yeah, Mr. Stick is awesome, but I try to not directly rip off Animusic stuff. I don't succeed all the time, but I like to design the instruments myself, so I try to design the instruments myself. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love Mr. Stick. He's great. There we go. So now, when I play this animation, it's there. I can hear it. So all these echo tracks we don't need, because those are just in the file to kind of simulate what the echo would sound like. But it's just an echo, so we don't need to visualize those. We just need one of these tracks, but they're all named stupid. I forgot about that. Where is... Ah, dang it. I hate how these are named. Okay, so track 0. So the bass track is track 2, also called Kahoot Lobby. Can I rename the tracks here? That would be really nice. And add tracks. Alright, whatever. Alright, so the bass is the track called Kahoot Lobby Music. And then the high-pitched synth is the MIDI by ShinkoNet. And then track 4 is the URL, which is the cowbell. And then track 5 is the drums, which is use how you want. Okay, so yeah, the weird track names are throwing me off. I wish they were just named what they are, but that's alright. Alright, so the first one we need is we are going to do... Alright, we're doing the bass, which is also called Kahoot Lobby Music. Boom. Alright, so there we go. We go from F1 to D sharp 3. So that's, and then we also need, this is an important Animusic detail that they always do, we need the notes in between. We don't just have the notes that are going to be used, we have the notes that might not be used, like a piano. If you, play a song, you're not going to use every single note on the piano, but they're obviously still there, so we have to do that. We'd be using the same, there's a heart on the chat that blocks the, message a little bit, so it's hard to see. Oh, presets. We're going to change them. To be determined. I don't know how to change presets. Again, I'm not really a music person, so that is to be determined. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for that. Alright. We can change the display name of these? That would be really nice. I can. That is amazing. Wow, it lets me change the display name of each track. Thank you. Cornerback 24, I think, made this. That is helpful. I really do appreciate that. That is a great feature. Alright, so now we go back up here. Bass, cowbell, drums, high-pitched synth. Beautiful. Okay. So, we need to look at a piano layout. Alright, so we need this for 3 octaves. How many notes is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Or 12 because the C from the last one is the same as the C from the next one. Okay. The presets still sound pretty good, not gonna lie. I agree. I think the presets sound really good on this one. That's what a DAW free, a free one. Does it say one? I hate the, wait, I think I can pop out the chat. Sorry. I don't know why that heart is always in the way. Okay. Free one like Cakewalk would be good for it. A DAW, a DAW. What is it? Is it a DAW, a preset? I'll wait for a response. Yeah, I need to learn more about the presets. That's always been the side I'm weak on, is the music stuff, you know, MIDI and presets and whatnot, but it's something I would like to get better at. I think it's important. All right, let's make this. So what I want is I want this to kind of look like a piano. So I want the main notes to be a lot bigger and the sharps and flats to be a little bit smaller. So let's open this back up. Oh, and maybe we have it in like 3 rows. So let me mock up real quick what I was thinking. Okay. So you have this, and then this is digital audio workstation. Interesting. I need to do more research on this. I'm going to write that down in my little notes doc. Look into Cakewalk. Thank you. I will look into that. Oh man, there's been someone on the Twitch chat and I didn't see that. I am so sorry, person. If you're still there, hello, good to see you. You want to play Kahoot? I'm not actually playing Kahoot. I'm working on an animation based around Kahoot. But if you want to stay and look at that, I should play Kahoot at the end. FL Studio, Cakewalk, Cubase, Mixcraft, etc. Okay, I will look into these. Thank you. And so these are good for the music editing side, I assume. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Alright, so what I'm thinking for the bass is, you know, you have these, and then you have the different lasers that shoot off in different directions. It's probably angled more like that. And then 3 octaves, so have them stacked up. Maybe not linearly like that, but have them stacked like that. And then, you know, have the smaller flats and sharps in between. Like that. That's what I have in mind for the bass. That is my mock-up. And then the lasers come out of the top. I'll probably model a little laser thing for them to come out. But let's model what one of these bad boys would look like. So everything needs to start with a cube. You know, this is the square one, so we have to respect the square. Actually, we're going to start with the plane. I set a rule and then broke it. Alright, so we're going to start with the plane. And then we are going to inset it by 0.1. What's the program you're using right now? I'm currently using a program called Blender. It's a free open source 3D animation software. So yeah, I'm using Blender right now. It's the free version of Maya or Cinema 4D, if you've ever heard of those. I've heard it compared to After Effects, which, yeah, I mean, you can use it for compositing like After Effects. But yeah, that's what it's for. You know, you can make all sorts of different types of animations and stuff within it. Why are you under the title of Kahoot if you're not doing Kahoot? Because I'm making a Kahoot animation, so that was my thinking of that, is I would just title it under Kahoot because it has to be a game of some kind, so I put it under Kahoot. I'm answering Twitch questions right now, YouTube. I'm streaming to both. Alright, let's, we're going to add a cylinder. I'm still, yeah. And rotate it like that. No, it's funny. All right, but yeah, probably when I'm done with this, I'll probably do like a Animusic Kahoot or something. A Kahoot live stream would be really cool. Can you use Blender on iOS? No, I do not believe so. It requires a keyboard and mouse. It's computer only. You can use it on Mac, but yeah, I don't believe you can use it on iOS. I'm sorry. We have to follow my beveling rule. Make sure everything is always beveled. Oops. Hey, good to see you back, 2NZ, and good to see you back too, 8th Furno. Good to see everyone back. Alright, 0.02. For those just joining or just come back, I'm currently working on modeling the bass instrument. That's what we have here. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out. Amazing. Thank you. Alright. You know, I had it coming out of flat edges. I think I like it coming out of the corner. You can do similar. Yes, Tinkercad is similar. It's slightly different. It's more for like engineering and stuff, 3D printing. But Tinkercad is very similar. They're both 3D modeling programs. I've used Tinkercad and I love Tinkercad. That is a great program. But yes, you can do something very similar. And my YouTube is Jeremy Weed. I will send that to you right now. It's youtube.com/c/Jeremy Weed. I love having my own URL. Alright, so I would use, first of all, I'm going to make this a little thicker. I would use cylinders for this normally, but because it's supposed to be square, I'm going to use cubes for this. Also use the bevel modifier by Leva. Yes, you can use the bevel modifier. It's non-destructive, which means it's not permanent. Like I can't undo these changes now, unless I hit like Control Z a million times, and that can be bad. But you also have to manually tell it. I guess it's not much more work. I probably should use the bevel modifier more often. I don't know why I don't. I'll be honest. You caught me. Hi, Tavin the Tombstone. Welcome to YouTube. Tavin the Tombstone was the guy who was on Twitch. So real quick, just a quick lesson to anybody. So if you're going to use the scale tool, which I do all the time, what's going to happen is you'll see here that the scale of the x-axis is now 0.5 instead of 0.1. So it's a different scale. So before I do anything, you can see if I bevel it, it's going to bevel weird like that. So before I do any kind of work with it, I need to hit Control A and apply the scale. And then you can see it'll bevel evenly. So make sure you always apply the scale if you do that. My administration from school allows this. Would a Chromebook run this program? I think so. Yeah, let me double check that right now. Can a Chromebook run Blender? Okay, you can, but it requires a special installation process. Chromebook runs Chrome OS. Yeah, so it doesn't work with Chrome OS, but if you install it a specific way, there's workarounds. That's like you can use it on your Chromebook. So let me send you that link. And yeah, Linux does work, like Crappy Pastry said. You solved one of your problems while leveling. I am so glad to hear that. Yes, that used to plague me all the time. And I was very happy when I figured that out. So yeah, happy to share the wisdom with someone else struggling with that. Alright, so we have this very, very, very intimidating looking very brutalist. I don't know. Well, it kind of just felt like using fancy architecture terms. Looking device. That will be our main base laser. So I'm going to use the bevel modifier this time, as was suggested in the chat, just in case I need to reverse something. So what I have to do here is I have to add it to a vertex group, and then I have to go here, modifier, bevel, and then you can see it's beveling in some unsavory places. So I just go to, there we go, limit method, vertex group. And then add a ton of vertices. Why not? Well, I don't know why it's beveling on these corners. I don't want it to. Wait, I do know why. Okay, I have a question for you guys watching. The flat edges do look nice, but to make it more realistic, I do the beveled edges slightly. Also to make it look a little bit more modern, because we were talking about this, I mean, you were there, yeah. Nothing in the real world was really sharp edges, but yeah, I agree they do look nice. I might make the bevel on this a lot more subtle. I'm gonna try something real quick. This might be a bad idea or a good idea. Bad idea. Okay, bevel modifier is not doing something, or is doing something I don't want it to, so we're gonna just use bevel. Because I don't want these edges right here to be beveled. And I can select it with edges, but with vertexes I have no way to say I don't want these. And I don't know how to do that. So yeah, we're just going to do it like that. And then bevel it slightly. We're going to keep it subtle. There we go. So we still get that sharp edge look, flat edge look, but it's still beveled slightly to keep it realistic. And then I'm going to inset it like a cannon. And that's what'll make our lasers. But we're not done, of course. iOS doesn't allow third-party downloads. Yeah, Blender wouldn't work anyway on iPad at least. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, just because you need a keyboard and mouse, I don't think it would work. That would be cool though. Mobile Blender. Be interesting. All right, we're gonna make a swirly cable. I think there's probably infinitely better ways to make cables than what I'm going to do, but I don't know them, so we're just gonna do it the only way I know. I have not done a lot with geometry nodes. That makes me a criminal. I need to do some stuff with geometry nodes. I have not. Alright, so I want this cable to start here and end here. Actually, wait, that's kind of supposed to be the top, so it's going to be flipped. There we go. Start here, end here. Kind of like it supplies fuel to it, I guess. I don't know. Who knows what it does? It's part of the fun of the Animusic is, it's good to add these kind of details, but they don't have to really make sense. I love adding, little details of things that are kind of questionable in their logic, but, I kind of misspoke. Not necessarily questionable in their logic. I like to think of, like, how these impossible machines work. I like to kind of justify it by saying, here's a cable. It powers it with some kind of juice. We don't know what it is. But that's what makes the laser work. And you're going to just be okay with that as an audience. And I think you can, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool to, put some gears in if you have something turning and make sure it actually feels like and looks like it can turn. Stuff like that. Like fiber bundles. Yeah, that is kind of what I'm going for with this. See, I think I get very much influenced by the Animusic animations, even when I don't realize it. Fun fact, my dad actually, I'm going to call him out, um, does not like fiber bundles. He says it's stupid. It's fun little bit of lore for you. Hey Crap Miro, that is Samira, my girlfriend in the chat. Thank you for joining, Samira. Happy to have you here. There we go, that looks really cool. I'm really happy with that. Oh wait, I just remembered something you can do. Yes, Crap Miro is my girlfriend. Gotta remember how this works. How does this path animation work? Aha. Okay, so let me show you something cool that I'm cooking up in my brain right now. So I'm going to duplicate this cable and make the duplicate slightly smaller, like that. And then we're going to take this outer tube, we're going to call it outer tube. And we're going to make it kind of transparent. I forget what clear coat and sheen do. I just have to kind of play around with it. Alright, and then we're going to take this inner tube, call it inner tube, shockingly. And then we are going to make it glow blue. And now you make it dark, right? And then what I can do is I can fill up the tube with whatever this laser juice is. So before it's about to play a note, I can have it go whoop, you know, really quickly. But can I show it in Eevee? Oh, I can. I just have to change how this. Hold on 1 second. This will allow me to show a little bit smoother. Is there a way to make the square in Tinkercad so it's not a full square, it's like your square? I don't know off the top of my head, but I would say try looking at negate and union maybe. That would be my... That's what it's called in Roblox. I actually don't know what it's called in Tinkercad, but you know, I don't really use Tinkercad that often. But if there's a setting like that, negate and union, look into that. I think that would be your solution. That is right. Isn't this really satisfying? Look at that. It just fills up the tube like that. I don't like this bend here. Oh, but duplicating it would be a nightmare. Okay, that's okay. That is cool. I do really like that. All right, next we need to add. Who knows? Like, what do you think's in there? Oh, someone in the chat said something in Twitch. They said, "What am I making? I'm making an Animusic animation in Blender based on Kahoot." It's quite the spiel I've got cooked up there. Negate and Union is possibly the most useful tool for modeling in Roblox. I agree. Negate and Union is outstanding. I mean, you can really do so many phenomenal shapes. And I love Roblox modeling. I'm a little sad and a little happy that they let you do, like, you know, custom materials now and all sorts of stuff like that, because I do miss the simplicity of Roblox modeling. I mean, a lot of it was problem solving, you know. You were limited to Roblox tools and that's it. And I don't know, there was something special about that. Now you can use, I mean, you've been able to import meshes for a while, I guess, but you know, you can use Blender and make whatever complex material and mesh you want to. And I mean, it's useful as a game developer, but I do miss the simplistic Roblox style. Oh, so look, it's beveling weirdly. So I just got to hit Control A scale, and then boom. AI generated materials are a thing in Roblox, and I am guilty of using them in our most recent game. I will be completely honest. I did use them, and I liked using it. I won't lie. We're not taking anyone's job away. We didn't have a texture artist or anything, so don't worry about that. It was more of just a matter of if it got done or not, rather than, who did it. It's not like we were going to hire anyone anyway, so it was either not going to happen or happen with AI. So it's my justification for it. All right, this laser is looking really cool, but we're not done yet. We need a few more things. First being, we need this to come out a little bit straighter. We're actually going to inset this further, stick it out like that. Oops. A useful thing when making Animusic animations, I don't do this, but you could, is look at actual machines. I mean, for this I could look at, like, I don't know, I guess an air compressor or something, see how those work, and then kind of mimic that look here to sell my effect a little bit better. There we go. That looks pretty cool. I'm happy with that. So, yeah, they're in case you aren't caught up, they're going to be in a row. Whoops. They're going to be in a row, kind of like this, I guess. And then each one's going to be offset by a little bit. Oh, but around this, I can't really do it super easily right now. But they'll be offset like that. And then that will be the different notes. That's how I'm going to differentiate the different notes, just in case you hadn't been here the whole time and you didn't see how I was going to do that. But this needs a lot more details. This is not ready yet. Animusic is about details, 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 details. There we go. It's future retro lasers meet fiber bundle tubes. Yeah, it is. That's kind of fun too, is to, like, take things I like from one thing, take things I like from another thing, put them together. And that's kind of what we have here. I really like the messy cable look. I think it's just such a quick and easy way to add large amounts of detail. And we haven't even added materials to this yet. Not sure how much longer we'll go for. I'm getting tired, but yeah, I really like how this is looking. This side is bland. Let's add... Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to add an audio meter on the back of these. This is something else I really like to do for its respective channel. So what would be really cool is if I could do its respective note, but I don't know how to do that. So we're going to do its respective channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off all of these but track 2, right? Yeah. So now it's... Oh wait, and we should probably have the base echo, yeah. And then we're going to save this as Kahoot lobby base only. Oh, one or more tracks are not audible. They will be audible in the save file. Interesting. I might have to end up deleting the tracks. Alright, anyway, we're going to figure this out. And then we're going to go to the conversion program. and we are going to convert the base only. Maybe everything else will be there. Hopefully it'll just be the base. If we have to change it, we have to change it. That's alright. Convert to MP3, convert now. This part's not fun, is it? Alright, download. Hopefully this is what I wanted. Nope, it's everything. Okay. Alright, we're going to open the base only project. This is what I have open, and we're just going to delete everything. Delete. Delete. There we go. Can't have anything else if there's nothing else to have, right? And then we are going to delete that. We're going to convert it to MP3. Converting. Yeah, who thought you sign up to watch a bunch of files get converted, right? This will be over soon, I promise. Because I think this should work this time. Oh no! Alright, I have 2 free daily conversions apparently. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Microsoft Edge. And we're going to MIDI to MP3. You know, free convert might work too. There's a way to get around these restrictions, by the way, usually. Yo, question, when you make a Roblox game, how do you make a UI for your game with a button? That's a good question. There are a load of tutorials online specifically outlining how to do that. I don't script, so I don't know exactly how to do it where it has functionality. But you add like a screen GUI, and then you under that you add like a text button or an image button. But what I would look up is look up a tutorial on how to do it, because I don't have a whole lot of experience in it. Alright, so this is nothing. What are we doing wrong here? What are we doing wrong? Alright, let's see if my little workaround is going to work. Okay, let's open this. Does VLC actually play MIDI files? Oh yeah, no, it doesn't have MIDI. Okay. Please work, please work, please work. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Because I really don't want to convert files anymore. It's not that interesting to watch. Let me download it. It worked. It's exciting. Okay, this should be right. There we go. So now what we can do, yeah, that's right, we got more work to do, is we can import. What we're going to add is we're going to make sure we're doing this under base. There we go. All right, we're going to add in a single arrow, and we're going to call this base waveform controller. I'll have to leave the stream right now. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching 2NZ. I appreciate your participation in the stream, and I hope you have a fantastic night. Thank you. Next Fortnite stream when? Soon. I want to do one soon. I don't know when exactly, but yeah, doing one soon would be nice. It looks like a square metal detector. It does look like a square metal detector, I agree. Alright, it's been a while since I've done this little trick, but once it works, I think you guys will be impressed. It's just a matter of once it works. Alright. fake sound to F curves. There we go. And we're going to get this MP3 here. We should do a booklet instead of, you know, it's funny, booklet is after me in school. I never use booklet. Booklet. Yeah. I've heard of it, but I've never used it. So look, that bounces based on the volume of the music, right? So that on its own isn't that interesting, but now what we can do is we can have to decide how, well, it doesn't bounce based on the volume of the entire song, but it bounces based on the bass channel. So now what I can do, and I have to remember how I did this, I've done this a couple times before, I really like this trick. Alright, so we have that, right? Now this is the hard part, is setting up the material. Let's actually UV unwrap it. And then we want a gradient texture based on the UV coordinates, and that plugs into the color. But actually we want a color ramp first. So black is red, that's green, and in between we'll add an actual good looking yellow. That overhead camera shot, oh, like this, that would look really cool. What's the one that does that? Stick figures, where it comes down and then pans out like this? That would be a really cool opening shot, I agree. Have you ever been to a wing restaurant? This looks like a wing spiciness. I don't know why that made me think of it, but it does. Alright, I was doing this a little wrong, I will be honest. But that's okay. Alright. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Sorry, it's been so long since I've done this, but there we go. So 0 to 1, right? And then we have to make sure we add driver, variable times 0.1, and the object is the base waveform controller. We're looking at Z location. Alright, wait, I might have messed up with that 0.1. There's supposed to be times. -1, not 0.1. Oh, no, I screwed everything up. Times -1. Alright, what have I screwed up this time? variable times -1. Why does my numlock keep pressing? Alright, variable times -1, and then 1 minus should do the trick. Or maybe it's just 1 minus variable. There we go. I just remembered one thing I have to do is sync to audio. Yeah, what's the loudest this ever gets? I just realized I think the waveform is inverted, but that's okay. Wait, 1 minus variable times 3. There we go. That was starting to look good. Alright, the one thing I need to figure out, and I don't remember how I did, is, you can see it's just scaling it up and down. I don't want it to scale up and down. Still cool either way. Yeah, I do need to invert the colors. UV editing. Yeah, see, it's supposed to be. Oh wait, I took it from generated now, didn't I? Just put this back in UV. Does it work? It's the wrong orientation. No, it doesn't work. This might be a off-camera mining situation, because this is starting to take a little longer than I anticipated. I won't lie. Alright, this will be a future figuring out situation. But one thing I think I'm going to do that I can show you real quick is I'll probably put two next to each other. They'll be identical, but it just looks cool. Again, it's just the sort of thing where it doesn't entirely serve a purpose, but kind of makes it look like there's two channels, even though there's not. But I think this is where I do leave you guys, because I've been streaming for a while and I'm getting quite sleepy. But I do appreciate all of you for watching. I had a great stream, and I hope you guys did too. I'm trying to find my my stream tab again. Yeah, I'll continue to do these. Thank you all for sticking around. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm excited to continue work on this. I guess I don't really have anything to render out yet because I haven't placed anything, but I might fix this off camera. and then go back to it in another stream, and we can continue to work on this instrument, start some other instruments. But yeah, thank you, Eighth Furno, for sticking around. Thank you, Crap Miro, of course. Thank you for saying cool stream, boyfriend. I don't want to leave that detail out. And I will see all of you around. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, check back next time. Bye, everyone.